Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
I'm Pepper, and that
and
is Ian O'Toole.
that is Ian O'Toole, and he's on Mars, as he's known to be. Uh, as you could tell from the title of this and this thumbnail here, we are doing a video in our series where we look at artists, board game artists, uh, kind of just the covers we base it on pretty
Yeah,
much. And we go through all the covers that they've done. We usually pick someone that has at least 10 different uh, covers that they've done.
yeah,
We look at them, we kind of rank them separately, and then we bring and join our lists together and then just see kind of how that comes out, what our favorite ones are.
yeah,
And yeah, this time we are doing Ian O'Toole. We've done some other ones if you want to go check those out.
yeah,
And subscribe if you want to see future ones. Leave us in the comments below anyone that you'd like us to look at that has at least 10 or close. We could probably do someone with less, but
yeah, yeah,
the more to look at, the more variety we have to pick from.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. We've been gifted to just so far focusing on some of the bigger, more obvious artists that I've known of for a while. But I don't know that many artists' names, so quickly, the well is running dry of my knowledge, so we need your help to point us
yes,
to some good names.
yes. And let us know how right or wrong we are on these picks, which ones you would say are your favorite from me and O'Toole. But
Yes.
yeah, we will get into it. Pepper is the one that knows the results. I do
Yes,
not
I
know
did.
what they are.
So we each did our top 15. Our number one favorite would get 15 points, and our 15th favorite would then get 1 point. Combine our scores and see what comes out. We ended up, well, there's 11 games in this list. And not because 10th place tied, but something farther in tied. And I was like, let's be super favorable and showcase a
What
game
did
that
we
I like.
showcase? One of yours that I didn't pick?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I
Oh, would we have done
massaged
it
the
the other way
numbers
around? Would we have done it the
because
other way around? No, we wouldn't
no,
have.
we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have. We would have been very unfavorable and only done 9 games. That's what we would have done. Raw is just. I thought you were gonna like this one a lot more. This one did not make your list at all, so it ended up being my sixth place. And this one has grown on me. I know when we were kind of we were haters of Ian O'Toole and Vincent Dutray, thinking they were a little overrated with their art styles, and I heard he was doing a new version of Raw. I'm like, oh, come on, how about a Bosley or something? But just looking at it, I'm like, it just fits perfect for the Egyptian theme. At least my idea of Egyptian themed things and what they should look like. This just looks fantastic. There's a lot of good detail on it and a lot of color, actually, too.
Yeah, I actually found as I was looking through his, he had a lot more that I liked than I thought I did. And I would say we also did do Vincent Dutrait, so you can check that one out and see if we came around on his at all. I think out of the two, I probably came around, or I've come around more and enjoyed more of O'Toole's artwork than Vincent
Okay.
Dutrait personally, I think. But yeah, Raw was in the running. It was one that I did write down on my sheet, so it would have been in the top 20 and probably on any given day, depending on what I'm ranking, what I'm feeling like. I think it could have slid into my list. It probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have been like it probably would have at best been between 10 and 15, but
Oh, yep.
it wasn't one that I didn't even write down. So
Yeah.
I did write this one down. So would have been in my top 20 because I think I had like 20 something written down when I first went through it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. And it might be boosted a little bit because I do like the game as well in my one
mhm.
play of it, which was not even this version of it. Liked it that much.
That's true. I do like this art on it better than the original, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So then next up, I believe it bumps up to 11 points. In ninth place is,
Yes, that is the point, not the placement.
yes, that is not the placement. This is 11 points combined, which was my ninth, or yes, no, my fifth place, giving it 11 points. And this was not on your list. Again, I thought this was one that you liked a lot.
This one was one that Yeah, I don't know. I thought this one when I first looked at it, I'm like, this is gonna make my top five, and then it just kind of kept dropping, and then I felt like maybe when I was comparing it to some of his other things, it like seemed similar, sort of, and there
Yeah,
were a few at the bottom
it's
of my list
colors
that
and
I wanted to get in there, which maybe wasn't the right way to approach it because it was going to be based on the total points, so maybe it didn't
mhm.
really matter to do it that way, but. So then this one kind of just fell. This is another one. I think based on the timing, it could get into my list. It could get into my bottom of my top 10, I think,
Oh, yeah.
depending on, yeah, if I was what I was feeling at the time. I just felt like this compared to maybe some of them that I did put on the bottom of my list was just felt a little bit more similar to some of his other ones. And I
Yeah.
just felt like I was doing a lot of them that had kind of a certain look to them, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. This one kind of uh, didn't like it initially when I first saw it, like a long time ago when it was announced. I'm like, oh, it just looks. What are these ick colors? Like, ate a bunch of goldfish and pulled the mush out, and it's just a mash of green and orange. What is going on here? But then, just as I look at it more, just that center, the window with that framing with the title in there. So many titles on games can cover up the beautiful artwork and distract, and this one just implemented perfectly, and I just love it. Um, just a lot of good details around it as well, which I haven't looked at nearly all the detail surrounding it. It's just really grown on me. Initially, not really liking it at all. So
Yeah,
we just did a full swap here.
we did, and it's these first two here, even though they didn't
Yeah,
make my list. I definitely like both these covers,
yeah,
and
sure.
uh, I think there was a bit before like it dropped off on some covers that I just didn't really like at all. And
Yeah,
we'll
I could.
see if you liked any that I really didn't like.
Yeah,
I don't
we'll
know. We'll
see.
see.
We'll see. Next up, I think it's tied here in these ones. And this one is actually one that was on both of our list. This was in your eighth place, and this one was in my 12th place. So surprisingly, comes out of nowhere. Just some
It
Catan
really
version.
does.
And I initially just kind of judged it like, oh, no, not that. I know
It's
Catan,
Catan, right?
whatever. And you look at it and I'm like, that's really nice, actually. A nice little sunset, sunrise, whatever. Get the reflection in the water, the city back there right in front of it, and the bridge, the trees. It's really, I don't know, it's really nice. Came out of nowhere and just kept moving up my list.
I 100% agree. This was one of those that felt maybe a little bit different than some of the other ones that he had done. So I was like, yeah, there's something about this that I just really, really like. It has me really actually wanting to play this version of
Mm,
Catan. Like, there's been a lot of Catan, and it's been a while. You know, Catan was one that we played getting into the hobby, and I think it's kind of I'll play it every now and then, but it's kind of passed for me. But this actually has me excited to play it again. So I'm like, I can't really rank it low if the cover has me excited
yeah.
to play this one. Um, and yeah, I actually saw it I was at the Dork Ten yesterday. I actually saw this one as one of the demo games to play, and I was like, I'll have to see. Maybe I'll have to go and play that.
Yeah. So is this a newer release? I forget.
I think it's pretty new.
Yeah,
I
we
think it was this year.
might have to get it. Might have to get it. Get another
Yeah, we'll
O2.
have to see if it's actually two player.
That's true. We've been playing Catan two-player for years, not realizing it's at least a three-player game. We house rule it here.
I'm sure there are two player variants on Board Game Geek, but I don't know that we were playing with them.
We never know. Then tied for that one at 12 points. It's Cascadero. There's
Hmm,
also Cascadito, and I loved both of them. As you can
interesting.
see, it's got 12 points, and it ain't on your list. So this is ranked very highly for me. This ended up being my fourth place one here. It was actually possibly going to be my first or second, but then I just kind of just kept moving around those top few spots. It was really close. And I'm like, just for what he does have a lot of this color scheme, similar to Weather Machine. This one just looks so classic. Looks like some royal ancient game. Just I don't know. I think it just really works with his style here, and Cascadito as well is kind of a similar look. I don't think it's a person. I don't know what it is. It's a person. I don't know if they're on a horse or anything. It's more of a square box. Very similar look. That one's really nice as well. I just ended up going with this one, not including that one on my list. Otherwise, they probably would have been near back to back. Um, but yeah, this one, I was surprised this one did not show up on your list.
Yeah, this is one I didn't actually even write down. Um,
Oh,
I don't know. It was just something about this, and maybe it was the fact that it was the two of those games
okay.
that maybe I was just like, I don't even know which one of these I would pick over the others, or over the other, because it
Yeah.
just they were similar. But yeah, I don't know, something about it that I didn't wasn't as appealing to me. But um, it's not like off-putting. It doesn't like it feels like you said like an older game, but it doesn't feel like a Clemens Franz
Oh,
artwork,
yeah. Yeah.
which I don't know has a
We'll
different look to it.
we'll talk about him sometime in the future.
Yes, we will do Clemens Franz eventually. We're gonna get to him. Um, so I think I prefer this over the Clement Franz artwork most of the time, but uh, yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. Just wasn't totally inspired by this one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Ooh, and Reiner Knizia. Ooh,
now that's why you really didn't
might have
like.
to get this one. I'm just sneaking my favorite designers into these lists.
Well, yeah, you have two Reiner Knizia ones on here already.
That's true. What was that other one?
Raw.
Oh yeah, of course. And we'll see about five more Rhinos here. Next up with how many points? 14 points. Fit to print. And this one we're working together with this one, and this was your eighth place as well as my eighth place, each giving it 7 points. So crossover on the number. Totally agree. This is the seventh best cover by Ian O'Toole. I had this one a little higher initially, but it just ended up dropping slightly. But yeah,
I think I
just
had it the
first.
other way around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it was lower for me, and then it just kept going up because I'm like, yeah, it's really solid. But I didn't. At the same time, I didn't want my because I've actually played this one. You have not played this one. I didn't want my uh, surprise of really, really enjoying this game to influence me. I'm like, I don't know if it's because I played it and I really, really liked it that I'm thinking that it's better than it is.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
It does. I mean, it is a factor when you see the cover. It gives you the feels if you haven't played the game of the art of the cover. If you have played the game, it's going to give you a little bit of those feels of the gameplay. So it's really hard to separate that. It's a good cover to actually judge it. And if it's a good game, you're like, this is a great cover. Like, no, it's still just a good cover.
exactly.
It's like, oh,
Exactly.
but no, this is one of the best covers ever made. Calm down. But this is really nice. It's another similar kind of color scheme here.
Mm-hmm.
Animals are funny to look at, kind of acting out. That I just now see that bird is angry at
Giving
the
them the business.
photographer. So that might have bumped it up maybe a spot or two just from that angry
Yeah,
bird.
I guess I didn't see that one either. But yeah, this one's pretty solid. I think even without the play, looking at it more, I think initially I didn't maybe enjoy it as much. I don't know that I was really focusing on the cover. It just kind of was like, what is this kind of maybe kids game
Oh yeah,
almost looking thing was the first impression without really looking at the cover that closely. But now that I've played it and kind of give the cover a little closer look, I was like, it's actually a pretty solid cover.
yeah, yeah. Not distracting of a title again, which I
Right.
think is probably going to be a theme with him. I think he's also kind of like
He is pretty good at
graphic
that.
designer as well, and not just
Yeah.
artist. So he's very good at iconography, and
Yeah. I think
that title is.
people bring up his iconography and stuff as being probably some of the best
Mm,
in the business. So he might be known for that even more than he is for his
yeah.
artwork.
If you want us to do a ranking of icons in board games, it'd be tough to do, but you really want it. If 100 people comment below that they want that, we will do it.
Yes. Yes.
And another one, which initially I think this is a crossover for both of us. It is in both our lists. I had it 11th place, and you had it all the way up in 6th place. So this is your favorite. So you explain.
Yeah, this was one that I initially didn't like, but the more I looked at it, I was like, this is pretty solid cover actually. And this was kind of like, I don't know. I grouped Weather Machine in with kind of this and a few more that I think will show up based on the points. I think they'll show up, but um, this was one that I was like initially I was like, oh yeah, that's the one with the orange and blue cover and whatever.
Yeah.
But then you kind of look at it and you've got the guy running with the briefcase, money dollar bills kind of going, and it really fits in with that guy's suit jacket thing that he's got
Mhm.
on. And then you got the helicopter action scene kind of in the background, the cop car coming up. It's just a really solid cover, especially for half. Well, maybe not half, but like a third of the box being kind of cut off. And I think he's
Yeah.
got that in a few of his things as well, where he cuts off parts of the box, uh,
Oh, yep.
which sometimes doesn't work and sometimes does. I think in this one it does work, where it doesn't feel like, oh, there's just a huge glob of blue on the
Yeah.
bottom corner type thing.
Yeah. I think that did hold it back for me a little bit. I think it felt like just a little too much blue, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, if you took some out of it, then you're kind of losing these $100 bills in the foreground and losing this guy's shadow kind of streaking across the ground. So if you got rid of it, it probably wouldn't work as well. So yeah, it's doing a lot and takes talent to have it not be a complete mess, and it really comes together nicely. It's an
Mm-hmm.
action movie right there on the cover.
It really is.
Interested to play it now. I don't know how it's played, but was this Vital Lacerda? Oh my goodness. Never mind. Not
And
interested
he
anymore.
I think Ian O'Toole has kind of a love triangle going with Vital Lacerda and Reiner Knizia.
He does. He does. Who does he love more? We'll see. Ooh, and this is one that you've talked about a lot. Voidfall. This is your number 5. It ended up kind of settling at my number 10. So points combines to end up with 18 points here, and probably a little disappointing to you. I know you
Yeah,
love this one. You've mentioned it a lot, and
I do
surprised
really
us.
like this scene, and
You
it
don't like
was one
space.
I don't like space, but I love the purples and the way they do it in this one. And I know a lot of space ones do kind of use the black and dark purples, but I think this one does it really well, especially with that kind of it looks like kind of ship. I don't know if it's trying to get out or if it's pulling it in. I'm not really sure what's going on there exactly, but uh, and then yeah, the other ship's kind of shooting off from like a Earth, I would assume. It
Oh
just
yes,
looks really, really cool. Another action scene. This one looks like it could be like a movie poster, I think.
yeah, yeah, it
Kind of
does.
like Escape Plan. And yeah, I thought this one would be higher for me, and it just kind of kept dropping. I don't know why, but it is. This one, I think, was one of the few that felt a little bit more unique than maybe
Yeah,
some of his other ones. But I guess the more I look at it, it does have some similar vibes to some of
yeah.
his other stuff that I really liked.
There's some style that like I can't really like pinpoint what it is, but there's just some things that are ticking that are just like, oh, that seems similar to some other games in some ways, but not articulate enough to talk about it. But yeah, it looks really nice. It is very actiony scene, which I wouldn't think of his covers as being action movies. I don't think most of them are, but two really good ones here.
Mhm.
And next up is decided to combine
Oh, he
these.
did put it all on there. Okay. Maybe you could. I was going to say this was one thing I was going to bring up with these. I could not decide. Well, I think I really did like Age of Rail South Africa the most. I don't know which one you did, but I think I had that one. I guess you can say I don't remember where I had that
You
one.
had that second place, I
Yeah,
believe.
I really loved it. What did you have?
I had it. I had it decently high right away, but it ended up going down to 8th place. Still good. It's 4th
And that one
overall in our
specifically?
combined. I hadn't really totally settled. was trying to decide. I think I initially, my first go at ranking them, eliminated South Africa as my favorite. Then I saw you had put that first, and I'm like, huh, I guess we'll just combine these. And I look at it, I'm
Wow.
like, I do like purple, but you got to kind of compare. Okay, you got the train, you got the middle,
Okay.
and then you got the background. And the middle of that is pretty plain. The middle of Iberian's got a nice little chapel there. The middle over here's got the
True.
detailed hills and the forest.
To be fair, you have this nicely set up here. And I was looking at this on my phone, so I couldn't like easily go back and forth and compare them as easily. But yeah, I did when I was writing them down. I originally had Age of Rail South Africa, Iberian Gauge, and Irish Gauge, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I don't know, Ride the Rails. I don't know if I just wasn't feeling it at the time.
America.
But I'm like that one. I thought that one was good too. But I
It
was like,
is.
I could seriously see multiple of these ones, which are basically the same
Yeah.
cover, all being towards my top. I really, really love
Yeah,
this
these
whole
are
set of covers.
just so cool looking. These should be hanging on a wall. These look
Yeah, I
fantastic.
would get these four as an artwork thing if you could.
Yeah.
I love all of them, and yeah, they could have all easily been on my list. So really should count this as much, much higher than
Yes.
this
Yes.
22 points. But I was like, I better only put one on the list.
I see the designers. Looks like these two are from the same one, and these are from different ones. I wonder what these games are like, if they're similar at all.
Yeah,
Kind of
let us know in the
interested in them.
comments
Are
below.
they super heavy? Are they train games, whatever, super complicated, or are they Ticket to Ride? Juicy.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below which one we should try, if any of them,
Yeah,
or if they're all kind of the same thing and it's just based on what you like. I don't know.
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, since
That
it's different
was,
designers, I would assume it's different, but
I think so.
at
But,
least the ones that are different.
yeah. So that was fourth place overall in our combined. So we got three left here. Next up, oh boy, was my number one for a long time. I ended up moving it down to number two, and it is your fifth. That's
My
Galactic
fifth. I
Cruise.
thought I already had a fifth.
Did you have a fifth? Wait, no. Yeah, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth. Who knows? I've written so many things on this sheet of paper. This is your fifth. Oh, did I say Voidfall was your
Yes.
Voidfall's your fourth? Escape Plan's your sixth. I might have messed one of those up.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is your fifth. This is my second. Combined are 25 points. And this is holding my number one spot for a long time. And then I just eventually bumped it down a little bit. There's another game that was just moving around all different places, and I didn't know what to do with it. And it ended up being number one. Taking it from this one, it's just, he's got, this is so his style. This just feels like Ian O'Toole. He's like a
It does.
pamphlet type of explanation sheet.
It looks like he's gonna
Style.
do blueprints. Is
He
what he
does.
seems like he wants to do.
Does. I think he wants
Uh,
to.
but yeah, this one I thought was really solid. It had me really wanting to buy this game or back it. I think it was recently on Kickstarter Game Found. I did not back it, but I am still interested in maybe eventually getting it because yeah, this artwork is really great, and it kind of shows oh you're going to be building it and
Yep.
possibly shooting off. So yeah, it's just a really cool cover. And even though there is kind of that I would call it a more blah colored kind
Oh,
of
yep.
border around a lot of it. It still somehow overcomes that,
It
and it
does.
works.
He's a master. Coming around on the tool. He's so good at what he does. Things that usually, like you say, a lot of maybe dead space
Hmm.
possibly being an issue. He just knows how to make it work.
He does. He does, and this makes me think a little bit of I don't think it'll be on here. Clinic, unless you have it like your
Wow.
number one. Makes me think a little bit of Clinic, and that was one that I kind of kept going back and forth. I don't remember if it did make my list or like right at the end.
Made your 13.
Okay.
So,
Um, but yeah, this kind of makes me think of that where I initially I didn't love the thought of clinic. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, huh, you kind of have the different rooms where they're all doing kind of different things. And I don't know I thought I saw something, and maybe I'm just making it up in my mind, but I thought there was like a sleeve on it where you take it off and then it's like
oh, it
looks
opens it
different,
up. Oh,
but I could
well,
just be making that up.
maybe you just thought that that should be what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I think I judged Clinic harshly initially and didn't really give it that close of a look. Which now that you're saying, saw it on your list and I was surprised. I'm like, what? That one wasn't that great or interesting. But now that you're saying that, that does sound pretty cool. I'll have to take another look and redo this whole list because it's invalid. That was three. On to a number two. Do you think you know what these top two are?
Well, I'm pretty sure I know one of them
You know one
because
of them.
we haven't said my number one yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've said all my other top five.
Your number three is the next one, which is
I don't
also
remember.
my number three, Speakeasy.
Oh, yeah, that one. This
This
was another one that kind of gave me those similar vibes to like the Weather Machine,
yeah,
Escape Plan, and stuff. That's why I felt like I had very heavy on like ones towards the top of my list. And I'm like, I can't just put them all at the top. Maybe I should have.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this
This
one's
is
great.
really, really cool. I think the only thing that slightly held this one back as well was kind of that dead space at the bottom. I don't feel like it's doing too much interesting with it, but like I said, if you do remove some, maybe then it just kind of looks a little weird. So I trust him that he did it the best that you can do it. It's just fantastic. So many things just breaking down in different layers.
Hmm.
It looks like another movie poster.
It does. It really does. And yeah, I think if he could have just taken just a little, I think he could have taken a little bit out of the bottom. But
Yeah, yeah,
that's the only negative that I have about it. Otherwise, I think it's amazing. Uh, this one was one that I initially didn't know either if it was gonna make it towards the top of my list. And it just kind of kept floating up higher and higher, and I was like, yeah, I just can't say that much bad about it. It's just a lot of good stuff there. But this is another Mattel Lacerda game, so I don't know that we'll ever. That's the only thing with a lot of these that do look good is their Mattel Lacerda. So uh, that makes it a little more intimidating.
yeah. That is the thing because I think this one's upcoming as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, that's exciting. And it's like, oh, it might not be as exciting, but he's got great iconography. Those Vital Lacerda games are going to be as approachable as they can possibly be. Might have to try them. We're going to be
That's
trying
true. And
one someday soon.
speaking of Mattel Lacerda, that's true. We will finally be trying our first at some point here.
Our number one crossover number one. It got the perfect score of 30 points on Mars.
Yes.
This one's good. This one's good. You just look at it, striking. You remember it. It's awesome. It's another movie cover. The title is so cool how it's layered. The on is
Hmm.
behind the Mars, but it's not a mess. You can still read it.
It's almost got a
Fantastic.
border, but it's very hidden. It's got a, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
that's
it's
true.
kind
I
of a
didn't.
shadow too, but
Yeah,
it's sort of a border, but he
it
hides it
is.
so well.
It is so good.
Yeah, this is a great cover. I initially don't think I was like thinking it was an all-time great cover, but we recently, you can go check it out if you've made it this far. You can go and we looked at the top 100 Board Game Geek games and ranked it based on cover. And this one we will say probably made it quite high. There was
Yep.
in
Yep.
one of our top tiers.
Yep.
You'll have to go check out which one. But yeah, I think at that point is when I really realized how good this cover was and how it just, I don't know, just a very inspired movie cover. He
It is.
does
It
this
really
very
is.
well.
It really is. And this one did bounce around for me. I was like, okay, this is going to be number one. And then Galactic Cruise comes along, and Cascadero, and some other ones, Speakeasy. I'm like, those are really good as well. Very different looks. Do I want more of maybe the scene of this one? Kind of more of a natural scene. It's not like split up into different little pictures.
Yep.
Or do I want more of that other style? And ended up going with this one. And It's just that green red. This is one that you could just blur your eyes and you know what game it is. Such an iconic look. And just now noticing, is there a spaceship up there? I believe there might be. Didn't even see that.
Yeah, I guess I'm not even sure.
Even
Yeah.
more to discover in this cover.
More to discover, all right. And I actually thought the expansion cover, even though it's got an alien on it,
Oh, the
I
alien?
thought the expansion cover was actually pretty good too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But I'm like, you can't compete, so I barely considered it.
Right. That's true. That is fair. Uh, yeah, I guess what was my highest one on my list that did not make it?
So we've got your 1, 2, 3. So On Mars, Age of Rail, Speakeasy, Voidfall, Galactic Cruise, Escape Plan, and then Venus, as was your your seventh place, which did not end up making it. That was just short at 9 points at not making the list. So I did not extend it up to 12 games to include that one, but
Yo!
you got the wine bottle in here for spoiler alert, Vincent Dutrait artwork, which I think I like that one more than Venus.
I probably like that one more than Venus as well.
Yeah. So it was losing that, which probably hurt it in my rankings just because I had seen that cover.
That's
but
true.
I initially considered it. Didn't end up making my 15. I think then you had your 8th and 9th, and then all the rest did not make it. My highest was, I got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got all my 10 in here.
Wow.
11. I got 11 in here. How did I get 11 in? Oh, yeah, there's 11. That's how I got my top 11.
Oh, how did I get all? Oh, did I get all?
How did I get
okay.
that?
And Zach got 6 of his in there.
Wait, no, I did not. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My 7th was Pampero, the one with the animal. Was there a windmill too? No, there's a windmill,
the windmill one.
There's the one with the animal, which was actually on your list, but it was last place. That was another different looking one. Very bright, colorful blue sky. Didn't quite make
it. Yeah, that was one that I was going back and forth on how high to put that one as well, but that was another really good one.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the main one, or you were talking about one of the expansions?
The same one that you put on the list.
Okay.
Yep. I like all 15 of these. I like more than the 15. There were good ones that I had to cut. I would say I've been fully won over on Ian O'Toole artwork, and I've been won over on Vincent Dutrait artwork as well, I would say. So
wow.
This series has opened my mind. Not so much your mind.
It has a little bit. A little bit. Come around on some.
Just starting to open up a little bit.
One of these days. One of these days. But yeah, let us know in the comments below which ones you agree with, disagree with. Should On Mars have been the number one? Or should it have been something else? Did we snub something? Let us know. And like I said, let us know if there are other artists you'd like to see. We'll probably link the series below so you can see which ones we've already done.
Yep.
But can suggest anything else. We're more than willing to go take a look at it. I think one of them that we'll look at is what's the name? Quilliams.
Oh,
what was that one?
Chris Quilliams, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that was a suggestion. So we're hoping to get to that one at some point. But yeah, otherwise, subscribe so you can see all future ones of these. And we hope to see you on those other videos. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.